Welcome everybody to the live. Hi Sarge, you're right. I'm just here filming, I'm not involved.
That's okay.
I'm independent.
Okay.
One thing they might say to you, which I know I haven't done with this, I checked in the past. One thing they might say I have on me, they can check this in the past. I have got no markers on me or anything. They probably will come up to you and try and claim that I have, but police has checked the past.
Have you been to some of these protests before?
I go every week, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. They don't like me filming.
So are you not on?
I'm on no side.
You're on no side.
I'm just independent. Yeah.
So do you have like a YouTube page or?
My YouTube is CP Reports.
CP.
Yeah. So CP is my initials.
Okay.
YouTube. Yeah.
Okay. Do you go to all
All of them. I'm on, basically I go. Oh, like tomorrow about the Save the Children one.
Okay.
For example.
1, 2. So are you follow these?
Well, I just want to tell you in case they come up to you.
That's right. I was like, I don't know, everyone.
I know, yes. And also I'm on section 17 of a public order, not section 14, anything like that. I do section 17, they give me a right to observe and record a protest. Hi Steve.
For leading us off in those chants. If you guys didn't know who we are the International Jewish Anti-Zionist Network. I gathered every Friday in front of Hoteveli's house until we've been kicked out every single time in Swiss Cottage where she lives, because for the past 20 months the Israeli government has bombed every single hospital, university, and home in Gaza. Shame! And we are here because we are Jews, we are anti-Zionist Jews, and we say that this is disgusting, this is deplorable what the state of Israel is doing, and we are disgusted by the UK government for funding this genocide, for being complicit in it, and we are disgusted that they have the Israeli ambassador Hoteveli in this country saying the most genocidal, imperialistic, disgusting things to talk about what's going on in Gaza.
I'm fine now.
She herself said she could imagine 600,000
I am fine.
Absolutely deplorable. Shame.
Mate, they can still get past. They can still get past.
Because we're anti-Zionist Jews.
I'm fine standing where I'm standing.
Zionism, because as I said, it upholds.
I'm fine standing where I'm standing. I stand here every time. I'm fine where I'm standing. I stand here every week. I'm standing here every week. And they say it to me every week.
That says that we can't criticize the state of Israel because that it's synonymous with the Jewish people, which is not true. That's why we're here today.
Mate, I'm
we are
standing here
anti-Zionist Jews, and the state of Israel is not what we represent. It's white supremacy, racism, and settler colonial time.
Police had an issue with me standing here.
What is terror? We need to stand united behind the Palestinian people, and that's why we're here today. Free Palestine! Now where's Sarah? Do you want to go over the rules of the picket before we start? All right.
Thanks, Lindsay. Very quick rules of the picket, which I think most of us know well. One, we don't engage with the Zionists. Generally, they're staying away, but there are one or two creeping around filming, but we just don't engage with them. Creeping is right.
Creepers.
Number two, please don't engage with the police. We always call on the police. We hope there are decent police around us. We hope they're against genocide. We hope they're against criminalization, but we can't always count on them. So please don't engage with the police. Look after each other. We watch each other's backs, and at 7 o'clock we'll leave together and we'll go to the vigil for Layla. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Lindsay's just reminded me that this picket we're anti-racist, anti-sexist, anti-homophobic. We're pro-trans people. We're against every form of racism. So that's our bottom line. Thanks again, everyone, for coming.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And let's give it up for the women of color and the global women's strikes for showing up every single picket and helping us organize this. Applause. All right. Next, we have Jonathan to give us some updates on the work that he's doing.
Welcome once again. For you coming, we would not be able to sustain this picket. Global Women's Strike. So, comrades, I've just come back at the beginning of the week. I've told you a bit about it in the weeks running up to it. We had great success. 5 out of 5 pro-Palestine motions were passed by big majorities. I'm briefly going to run through them very quickly just to tell you what they were about, just so you get a sense. First one, the PMA has now official policy which is against Palantir. Palantir, for those who don't know, is that dreadful military surveillance and technology company in bed with the American military, the IOF, and surveillance everywhere. For some unknown reason, well, we know the reason actually, they've been given a £330 million contract by the NHS to run what? Our data, to keep our data. All of our data they will have. So the BMA is against it now, and it's a big, big boost for the campaign to block this and to kick them out of the NHS. Number 2 was a simple motion which just said, this meeting believes that criticism of the actions of the State of Israel is not anti-Semitic. Kind of ABC for all of us here, right? But you've got to remember who the audience we were dealing with. Conservative doctors who have been gaslighted, threatened, bribed and intimidated by the Zionists into believing that and keeping quiet. Overwhelming majority in favor of that. So they cannot any longer within the PMA make complaints against people who criticize Israel for what it's doing in Gaza. The next one was a motion by the medical students which condemned the victimization of students and healthcare workers advocating for Palestine within medical school and the workplace, to systematically differentiate rightful advocacy for Palestine, and this is not equating to anti-Semitism, and to also demand the reversal of any punitive measures that have been taken place against students.
Favourite joining.
So that was very good. Number 4 was a really good motion by our Scottish colleagues,
And yes, I do like
which the meeting condemned in the strongest terms the systematic destruction of hospitals in Gaza, the killing of over 1,000, it's now nearly 1,600 healthcare workers in Gaza since October 7, as grave international breaches of international law. 2, demands the unconditional and immediate release of all arbitrarily detained healthcare workers in Israel.
Yes!
3, unimpeded access for medical and humanitarian relief. 4, holding into account any medical professional or facilitated the torture of the health service in Gaza. The action points were to reaffirm our first one of all, to suspend engagement with IMA, right? To suspend all engagement with them until they condemn. Really important, because for the first time we have had a call country calling out their counterparts in Israel as being complicit in our association with them until they change their tune.
Guys, this
And then lastly,
because of where I am.
Association chapter of the Israeli Medical Association about all the motions on. Well, here was at least free Palestine.
Zionist Jew that's part of IJAN in Berlin. So let's hear what she has to say about the work she's doing.
Hi everyone, what an honor to be here. I was last here in January and it felt like a formative experience to be surrounded by people with shared politics, with a shared rage at the terror state of Israel, at the genocide it is perpetrating. I am here on the back of the largest ever Palestine demo in Berlin last weekend. 80 to 90,000 people were on the streets to say no to Zionism, no to Israel, and stop the genocide. This is a mark of the strength of our movement. It is a mark of the strength of the mass shift in global consciousness we are seeing, where we know we stand on the right side of history. We know it is a moral obligation to stand against genocide at any cost. Despite all the repression, the home raids, the intimidation, the fines, being beaten bloody in the streets unconscious by the cops who serve the imperialist, colonialist interests of the state, we are here and we are not leaving. And we aren't leaving until the genocide is over, and we certainly aren't leaving until Palestine is free. I want to say that our wins will have to and will look different. We have not been able to stop the because we look around and we see the streets littered with keffiyehs and Palestine flags. We see solidarity, true, lived, material solidarity around us, internationally, across class, across geography. And we see what we have built, and we see its power. And I think we should know that this is just the beginning. Now is the time to be louder than ever, and I think my experience in Germany after 20 months of absolutely brutal oppression, I mean, cops beating the living daylights out of people onto the pavement, people being helicopter lifted to hospitals because the paramedics have been beaten while trying to reach people on the ground. but this is all a sign of the desperation, how difficult they have made the lives of the politicians committing this genocide, which of course we know is why the state is so embarrassed they must threaten to prescribe them. Shame. But alongside Palestine action, we also see global movement. We see our comrades on the Freedom Flotilla who really put their bodies on the line and knew what they were up against and performed a calculated and systematic campaign in order to draw attention to the horrors of the siege and blockade of Gaza. We see tens of thousands across Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco, our siblings there who have gathered in the Sumud convoy to bring humanitarian aid to Rafah. And we see all people of conscience across the world come out in our thousands and in our millions to say we are all Palestinians and there is no way back from that realization. So I want to say to those of us who haven't joined us, and I know I'm speaking to everyone who has joined us, but hopefully some people are walking around and will hear this. It is not too late to join us. There will be a reckoning as to how you sat and watched 20 months of genocide, but this movement is for everybody. Everybody should be in the streets with us. Everybody has a role to play in changing history and standing on the right side of it. And my last call is to Jews.
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine! My last call is to anti-Zionist Jews. It's to Jews who aren't sure. It's to Jews who feel a little bit targeted. There is a place for you right here alongside us to say, because of our history, because of our experiences fighting and resisting genocide and fascism, it is a responsibility to come out and say we support the full liberation of Palestine from the river to the sea and the Palestinian resistance. We know from where we came from that this is a decisive responsibility and we take it on with a great honor. So thank you all, comrades. Be loud, be steadfast, be inspired by our siblings, our comrades, our compasses of Sumud on the ground in Palestine, and let's come together to say louder than ever, Palestine will be free from the river to the sea. From the river to the sea!
An inspiring speech and a great call to action, and we have to really give our hands to Rachel because I was in Berlin last year for a Pride March and a Palestine March, and it was insane, the repression I saw, the brutality, the violence. So she's really in the heart of the beast, and doing the hard work on the ground floor. And I know there's so much repression there. You can't even say from the river to the sea. You can't even have a badge that says it. That's the level of repression in Germany. So incredible that she's here with us today. We are joined by JNP, another one of our comrades, fellow anti-Zionist Jews, Jewish Network for Palestine. Let's give them a hand. So I want to give a shout out to them real quick.
Yeah, just about our comrade from JNP, Dave over there. You may know that Dave was one of the victims of the police brutality on Monday against the Palestine Action demonstration. And there's video of him just being shoved to the ground incredibly violently by a police officer. Totally outrageous. But the thing is, comrades, Dave is back. Dave is here with us today. And we thank you, Dave, for your courage and your bravery and your persistence. Because what this signals is that repression does not work. We will get up and we will stand up and we will be back every time. So thank you, Dave. Give it up for David, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Did you want to say a couple words? Did you want to say a couple words about what happened?
No, I don't really want to dwell on what happened. I mean, it was obvious from the video. I was really lucky that someone had such a presence of mind to video exactly what happened. They didn't come along after the event. They were there and they saw everything. And I was so taken by the kindness of strangers. Everyone rallied around me, and that was superb. So, of course, what we should be fighting for is against the prescription of Palestine action and for the prescription of Zionism. Zionism is the violent, racist, supremacist ideology that is creating havoc in Palestine, and the wonderful thing I've seen is the international response. There feels like a global resistance at long last to the oppression that's going on around the world. People recognise what's happening and they are resisting, and all strength to them. So we say, Judaism yes, Zionism no! Judaism yes, Zionism no! Judaism yes, Zionism no! Thank you.
We talk a lot about political prisoners on this picket. In Palestine, there's over 10,000 political prisoners, and you might consider the 2 million people that are still alive in Gaza to be political prisoners under siege, forced into genocide, forced starvation, forced just an open-air prison. I want to turn our attention to St. Thomas Hospital just across the road. There's a brave woman inside, Layla. She's the mother of Allah, a political prisoner of Egypt who served his sentence for dissent, for talking about the injustices in Egypt. He's a British citizen, a UK citizen, an Egyptian citizen, and he's been there for 10 years with no end in sight, and his mother is on a hunger strike over 260 days. Shame on Keir Starmer. Now Mona,
She has been on hunger strike. She has been on hunger strike since September of 2024. You can only imagine she's not eaten anything since September 2024 to protest the detention of her son. The update is, as of 2 days ago, she switched to a partial hunger strike. So she's now on 300 calories a day, which is basically just a tiny protein shake that she takes. It's about the same amount of calories as a jar of baby food for a grown woman, for a 69-year-old woman who's already quite ill, as you can imagine. Obviously 300 calories is more than the babies in Gaza are receiving at the moment. I'm sure she recognises that. So we hope that her partial hunger strike will prolong her life, her presence, and the fight to allow release. We think that maybe she's had letters written to her from her friends in Egypt and encouraged her to consider a partial hunger strike to give her more time, because she was really in a crisis and she could have died at any time. I just want to thank again everyone who's been attending IJAN, Women of Colour, the Global Women's Strike, who've been coming on Fridays, and people who've been coming every other day. We've had a lot of people coming on a daily basis. I'm so touched and we're so honoured that people have been coming and showing support for Layla for what she's going through. We were very honoured the other day that we actually got to see Layla. She got to come out in her wheelchair, and we saw her at the balcony, and she's the sacrifice it takes to get these things. I just want to point out
Guys,
as well,
I'm sorry about the signal on this,
pressure
guys.
on David Lammy and Keir Starmer to force the Egyptian, do something to get the Egyptian authorities to release Allah. David Lammy this week met with Israeli hostages who were released 4 or 5 months ago, so I'm not sure what their pressing issue is because they're out. So he met with them and took pictures with them and talked about Israeli hostages, not Palestinian hostages, Israeli hostages in Gaza. And yet he has no time whatsoever to give to Layla to be with her family. So it shows shame. So it shows whose lives are considered valuable to the British establishment. Israeli lives are infinitely more valuable than any Arab life because they're not politically relevant. They can kill as many of us as they want because we're nothing to them. But Israeli lives are more valuable, as we've learned in the last 2 years. So shame on the British government. Shame!
Darren, take over the chat, please, if you're still here.
So we're going to be going there again from 7 to 9 tonight. If you have a few minutes to spare, please come down and support Layla, show your love for her. Thank you for all the signs. And I just want to say, Free Allah, save Layla. So Free Allah! Free Allah! Save Layla! Save Layla! Free Allah! Free Allah! Save Layla! Save Layla! Free them all! 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 Break their chains and let them fall! 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 Thank you!
Thank you so much, Mona, for doing the incredible work that you do every single day. Just an angel. I can't even imagine what the family's going through. So to have Mona organizing she's just such an angel. I saw Layla the other day when she walked out, and it was incredible. We couldn't quite hear what she was saying, but just to see the strength to be over 260 days on a hunger strike, it's so incredible at her age. Her son is also on a hunger strike. I think it's so incredible, the family, what they've been through. But now is the time to act here, Summer. It's been 10 years. And shame on David Lammy. He said before he was in office that he would do something about it. And so we need to call out the hypocrisies of the UK government, because this is absolutely deplorable. Free them all! Oh, yes. Is the sister from Tottenham here before we go forward? Tottenham, sorry. Is the sister from Tottenham here? I'm sorry, I'm American. Is she here? Yeah, there you are. Yes. Would you like to go? Yeah. Okay. Up with liberation.
The global march to Gaza, which it was the honor of my life to be a part of it and represent with thousands of people from around the globe, humans of conscience. Can somebody block the head from filming, please? I don't want to block that woman.
Well, tough. You're in public place.
Thank you. We also had the Samud convoy. The Samud convoy was over 4,000 people from North Africa who came from Tunisia. But we had delegates from Mauritania, Algeria, Morocco, Tunisia, Sudan, Libya. But in true fashion, we found out where the real borders of Greater Israel lie, because the Samud convoy was stopped in eastern Libya, stopped, detained, not allowed medicine, not allowed food. Some people are still being violated. Shame on eastern Libya. And also Israel
it's clear they're not here to protest. I'm moving, they're basically following it. It's clear they're not here to protest.
On the way to Ismailia, on the way to El Arish, where we planned to march. But whilst I was there, the violence I witnessed, people being whipped.
It's clear they're not here to protest.
Undercover agents, brutal violence,
clear they're not
women were
here to
thrown into
protest.
coaches, driven to Cairo, dropped off, sexual violence, passports were confiscated for
It's clear,
hours.
and whenever I move, they
So a
follow
total
it. Clear that they're not
violation,
here to
all in
protest.
all. And it's
I'm
shocking,
moving,
but
and they
as of
follow.
Tuesday this
It's
week,
clear
the
they're not
Human
here
Rights
to protest.
spokesperson released a statement to investigate the Egyptian and Libyan governments about their use of excessive force as gender-based violence
This is
was
clear.
used on our
I'm moving
delegates.
away from them.
So
It's clear
although
they're
we're
not here to
disappointed and
protest,
heartbroken that we
they're
couldn't
here to
achieve
follow
our
me.
aims, the
This
fact
is
that
clear.
internationally
I
over
got
50
arrested a couple of
countries
weeks ago
where thousands
for
of delegates came out is a
for
big deal.
self-defending
And I don't think
myself,
that's ever
yeah,
happened.
from a neighbourhood, yeah? And it all
Everybody.
started with them
And
following
we'll
me.
continue to fight and be successful.
Yeah,
Keep
fine.
eyes on the Malaysia Freedom Flotilla. Hopefully in a couple of months we'll have 1,000 ships and we will break that siege and we have to keep fighting. Had our
It's clear they're here
Enfield
to follow
Council
me.
meeting. We've
It's
been campaigning
clear.
for over 9 months.
Let me go past,
We've gathered
please.
3,500 signatures from our constituents for the Enfield Council to divest pension funds from the armed companies, from the illegal occupation, and the opposing parts. We were prepared, we had a brilliant statement, our comrade Chris Kaufman delivered it perfectly.
This is clear, they're not here to protest. No, no, literally it's clear. No, literally it's clear they're following me, not here to protest.
Against our petition, they said we'll have a look at it, we'll make sure the pension committee are aware of it, and it's in our fiduciary duty to keep an eye on beneficiaries and their money, even though we reminded them they've changed their policy for Ukraine, gambling, tobacco, pornography, and environmental issues in the past. So it can be done. But yeah, just to let people know that this government is no different.
This
than
is
the
clear,
Egyptian
they're not
government.
here to
But
protest,
the
they're here to
violence
follow
on
me.
Monday,
Clear, they're here to follow me, not to protest. I'm doing, I've got my right to film, and it's clear, they're not here to protest, they're here to follow me. And I tell you now, yeah, I know, yeah, but they're basically, this will get me views, yeah, but it's clear they're here to follow me, not here to protest. This is clear now. Look, just watch them. Just watch them. If I move, watch them, yeah? So I am moving. I am moving. I am moving. This is clear. So if I self-defend myself, you'll not arrest me, yeah? If I self-defend myself, you'll arrest me, yeah? They get it on camera now. If I self-defend myself, will you arrest me? Yes or no? Get back for me. This is clear.
Alright, now we're going to
Their
hear from our fellow
intentions.
IJEC comrade Oscar to give us updates on PAL action and the event this week. So you want to give some quick updates?
Thank you everyone for coming. Every week you show up to IJAN's picket and you show the police, you show the public that you stand against Zionism and that you stand for justice and that you stand with the Palestinian people. And thank you everyone for that. At the International Jewish Anti-Zionist Network, we know that direct action gets the goods, and that is why we support it every time. So everyone say with me, we are all Palestine action! 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 Say it clear and say it loud! All action, you make us proud! Say it clear and say it loud! All action, you make us proud! The fragility and the hypocrisy of this government is galling. Keir Starmer, does anyone remember what he did before he was Prime Minister? Before he was head of the bloody Crown Prosecution Services? Well, weirdly, extremely fucking weirdly, he was a human rights lawyer. It's not a pantomime. He was a human rights lawyer. And not only was he a bloody human rights lawyer, he defended protesters for dismantling the RAF facilities that were supporting the genocide in Iraq, that were supporting the genocide in East Timor. He did that. And not only did he do that, he successfully argued the defense of necessity. That was that he argued before British courts that it was justified to take these criminal actions to try to stop a greater crime. He made those arguments. And not that I really give a shit about professional standards and all that liberal BS to do with being a lawyer, but if he makes those arguments and he doesn't believe them to be true, or he doesn't think they're meritorious, he'd be in breach of the bar standards rules and he'd be struck off. So clearly at the time, he probably believed he was arguing stuff with merit. And to say that, he actually succeeded in these arguments and got people acquitted. And now he stands there saying that the actions that Palestine Action take are acts of, first he described them as acts of vandalism. He said they were vandalism, and in addition to that, the RAF reported that they did not consider the damage to be substantial. And now you have Yvette Cooper creating a draft prescription order on the basis that supposedly they caused serious damage. Well, I hope they caused serious damage. The damage they caused was to Zionism, the damage they caused was to the British state for revealing that they are not just complicit, they are perpetrators in this genocide. And shame on the British state, shame on the police, shame on the British state, shame on the police, shame on Zionism, shame on Zionism. History will remember that you stood with genocide yet again. And that will, I wanted to say change something, but actually won't change anything. But the reality is, the British state's credibility is in tatters. Zionism's credibility is in tatters. And that is why we see people standing in their thousands in the streets to support Palestine Action. On Monday, the police brutality at the protest has already been discussed, but what hasn't been discussed was the forthright will of the protesters who showed up and stood against this outrageous prescription. As the police stormed into the crowd to pick people off for God knows what reason, the protesters surrounded the police, and the police were brutalizing these individuals that they were grabbing, and the protesters were successfully de-arresting people, surrounding the police, putting them under a huge amount of pressure. And really what was being exercised was a form of direct action by the protest itself. And the energy and the militancy of our activists is here. And that is not going to change whether Palestine Action is labelled a terrorist group or not. And what this government has not learned from the previous government is that you cannot legislate morality. They had the Rwanda is a safe country bill with the Tories, and now we have the Pal Action is a terrorist organisation order by the Labour government. Both are attempts to legislate morality. And they cannot do that because the people see the government for what they are. They are cowards, they are terrorists, and they are genocide heirs. And at IJAN, we will not stop protesting. We will not stop supporting direct action until Zionism falls. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Comrade Oscar. Now we're going to hear from Crystal to give us some BBS update.
I do hope that Collins gets it all on film, because we really need this to go as far and as wide as we possibly can. Everything that was said. Okay. We actually knew this towards the end of the picket last week, but people will now know that the biggest giant shipping group, Maersk, the Danish group, have finally become the first shipping company to divest from countries in the Israeli settlement. And it didn't just happen by accident, no way. It happened because last summer the Palestinian youth movement started the Mask Off Maersk movement. And it has been consistent, and it has been dedicated, and it has revealed a whole set of shit in a fantastic report till we reach a point where they had to divest. And that is what the movement does. So after that Mask Off Maersk campaign, it's not all over, but it is to go after every single one of the other companies that are doing the same stuff, because what they do is they deliver the weapons, and without the weapons, the Israeli government cannot kill Palestinian people or Syrian people or Iranian people. So the next thing we had, likewise with the co-op, our friendly co-op, who many of us are members of, we did another great thing. We forced them to stop putting Israeli shopping goods in their supermarkets. That is mega. That is absolutely mega, because we are really, they have about, 2,300 grocery stores across the country. And the fact that we've got our foot in that door means we can go in every other door and get every other supermarket to do the same damn thing. We have the power in our pockets. We have to use it. So, that movement work, we are steadily bringing the Israeli economy to its knees. Isn't that what we need to do? Isn't that what we did with South Africa? Yes, so we do it with Israel. And it's having a major effect. It's having a major effect on the US. Of course it is, because they're one and the same. So, for example, rumour has it that Elon Musk is giving up politics to spend more time with his swastikas. Right? And to try and stop all his SpaceX rockets blowing up before they even get into space. Well, I hope he doesn't succeed with that, because that has caused an awful lot of pollution, and nobody's talking about that. And likewise his swastikas, where he needs the batteries, so he's part of that whole regime that is stealing all the minerals from around the countries in the global south. So all of these are part of what we're doing to put pressure on to bring them to their knees. And finally, our favourite band, Kneecap. Kneecap are playing Glasgow. And Michael Eavis, I used to live in that part of the world, by the way, around Glastonbury Tor, and we used to sneak in under the wire. We couldn't ever pay. But anyway, Michael Eavis, who made a lot from it, good on him, he said that if people don't agree with the politics, the way I interpret that is they can off. And Kneecap said, if you believe that what a satirical band who play characters on stage is what they do is more outrageous than the murdering of innocent Palestinians. It's a fantastic film, and in fact, our Irish sisters and brothers are really at the forefront and always have been, because they know what a genocide is too. The famines in Ireland and the colonialism that they've survived, so they know. And that they have also started to put sanctions on the settlements, isn't that right? Yes. So we are leading all over the place, and we're changing things all over the place. And one final thing is, I think we're up to 12 councils now that have divested and taken their pension funds out of anything to do with Israel. And again, that's been people pressure. And the students also in the universities, I think we're up. So we have a mega movement that is bringing others to the knees. And I don't know if you feel like I do, but I don't think Starmer's going to last terribly much longer. I really feel it in my bones that he's going. Okay. And a few others are going with him. Free Palestine!
Thank you so much, Crystal, for those updates. We're going to hear from our comrade Sam, who's usually here, but he's actually in the U.S. right now. He's going to report on some things in the U.S. If you didn't know, if you weren't following the New York City mayoral race, Zohran Mandani,
I'm sorry not to be with you today, but I bring you...
We'll hear him in a second. Will be the first Muslim mayor of New York City. Just won the Democratic ticket, the Democratic Party ticket. So in November, it's not guaranteed, but he's in the hot seat. He just has to go against corrupt Eric Adams and sell out Zionist Andrew Cuomo. But New York City, which I think swung right for Trump, swung left for a Democratic Socialist candidate, anti-Zionist, Muslim candidate, and just shows you what this movement is doing. And he is very pro-Palestine, so it's incredible to see what's going on in the U.S. And yeah, let's hear from Sam and see what he has to say.
I'm sorry not to be with you today, but I bring you greetings from the U.S., where Zohran Mandani, a pro-Palestinian Muslim, has been elected against all the odds as the Democratic Party candidate for mayor of New York City. Mandani is of South Asian descent and was born in Uganda. Not only did he win the Democratic primary, but he won decisively in the city with the second largest Jewish population in the world. In a field of 5 candidates, he took 44% of the vote in the first round, assuring him a victory by a wide margin over the establishment candidate Andrew Cuomo, who suggested Mandani is anti-Semitic. But Mandani's chief spokesperson is Jewish, and he was endorsed by a whole host of Jewish activists and by some politicians. And Mandani did not equivocate about his support for Palestine. He has called out Israel for apartheid and genocide, virtually unheard of among politicians in this country, and defended those who called for globalization of the Intifada. I don't want to exaggerate here. He is not publicly, at least, anti-Zionist as we are. But by being as militantly pro-Palestinian as he has been, and winning in a city with so many Jewish people, he has broken some of the taboo for politicians of siding with their constituents. Among Democrats nationwide, support for Palestinians is 3-1, and 87% of Democrats disapprove of the attack on Iran. Indeed, support for Israel among all voters has dropped below 50% for the first time ever. The power of Mandani's message on Palestine meant that he won this vote by opening up a huge generational divide. 25% of all voters in this election had never voted before. Young people came out to vote for someone who looked like he would represent them. Mandani's campaign knocked on more than $1 million, overcoming the huge financial support that his opponent got from the rich and powerful. Made more affordable. He wants city bus transportation to be made free for everyone, city-owned grocery stores, universal child care at affordable prices provided by the city, a rent freeze, and immediate construction of social housing at affordable prices, and, of course, to increase taxes on the rich, of which there are plenty in New York. And while his main opponent said that he would be part of Netanyahu's defense team, Mandani stated in no uncertain terms that he would arrest the war criminal if he set foot in the city. Now, this is not the end of the story. We still have a long way to go to the actual mayoral election, which will be by law and tradition the first Tuesday in November. Normally, elections of the Democratic candidate is a foregone conclusion in New York, but this time the political establishment, whether Democrat or Republican, is more concerned with defeating Mandani than we're concerned that he might succeed and we, the people, will win. Beat him on November 4th. But I suspect people from all over the United States will be heading to New York City to knock on even more doors than in the primary election. Stay tuned. Free Palestine.
Incredible campaign. We're running a little bit short on time, but I really want to hear from Daniel. If you'd like to speak about the work that you've been doing in the past week.
Thank you, comrades. I'll be very quick and brief, hopefully. Hotter Valley, shame, shame! Genocide in your name! Keir Starmer, shame, shame! Genocide in your name! Met Police, shame, shame! Genocide in your name! Thank you, comrades. Just a reminder for why we are here outside the Metropolitan Police, New Scotland Yard, because of the institutional anti-Semitism of this more than others, and that we shouldn't be allowed to express our anti-Zionist Jewish voices in Swiss Cottage to protest for the expulsion of the Israeli ambassador for her incitement of genocide. That is why we are here. Comrades, I wasn't here last week because last Friday it was Refugee Week, Refugee Day, Solidarity, and I was with the NEU delegation going to Dunkirk to provide aid and solidarity to some of the communities that are in the camps in Dunkirk in the northern parts of France. Over the course of that week, we had organised as teachers and as students a week worth of events of bake sales and frozen sales, of a film screening of the incredible film The Swimmers, and we did a bit of arts and crafts of a welcome wall in the 60 different languages that are spoken in my school. And we brought and raised over £560 that we brought with us to Dunkirk to bring the solidarity of my school and our community. The situation in Dunkirk is absolutely horrific. There's no on a daily basis, huge amount of police and military violence, organised abandonment by the state without any food, any water, any waste management. All that is being provided is there by the organisations on the ground. But in the midst of that ocean of despair, there's a huge amount of resilience, community and joy, and we really witnessed the best of humanity while we were there. We were digging ditches and for the drainage for the showers, we were litter picking around the camps, we were playing games with the young children. I met a young Afghan boy, 9 years old, whose favourite subject is geography, who is already fluent in English, French and German, as well as Persian and Pashtun in the 2 years that he's been across Europe. That's what I mean, the best of humanity that we would be lucky to have as part of our society and our community. But what's really important as well that we wanted to express as a union, and the Fire Brigade Union are currently in Dunkirk doing the same thing, is that our solidarity. When we talk about the freedom of movement for refugees, we must also fervently and furiously connect that to the causes of displacement. There's no point in showing solidarity with refugees if we are not also anti-war, anti-climate change, anti-political persecution, anti-imperialist exploitation by the West. It's the causes of displacement, which means refugee solidarity for us as the NEU means the freedom to move, but also the freedom to stay. And also, when we're talking about Palestine, it's the freedom to return. The right to return for all the Palestinian refugees back to our homeland, free from colonial occupation. So what Palestine Action, I want to say, what they are doing is refugee solidarity as well. It's upholding the inherent right of Palestinians to return to their lands, and it's by attacking and dismantling the global military supply chains that displace Palestinians and people across the region and prevent them from returning to their homes. It's an opposition to displacement, to occupation, apartheid and genocide, which the settler colonial state of Israel is spreading across the region. We know, and it has been mentioned already, that the true terrorists are the ones who are executing the genocide in Gaza, the ones who are arming them from Westminster and Washington, the ones who are luring starving civilians into killing fields, committing daily massacres. And there is not one single law that could be passed in Parliament, not one single statement by a Home Secretary that would withhold that fundamental truth from us, that we will always, whether it be this week or next week after any potential prescription, we will always stand with Palestine Action and support the right of resistance to occupation and colonialism. The final point I want to make, I come from a proud lineage of anti-apartheid activists in the Jewish community in South Africa. Nelson Mandela was on the US state terrorism sponsor list until 2008. And now you can't go to a school in London that doesn't have an image of Nelson Mandela or a quote from him emblazoned on their walls. We know what the right side of history is, and we're standing on it today. The state will never tell us who the terrorists are, because we know who they are. So free the Filton 18, free all the Palestine Action political prisoners, free the Palestinians held hostage in Israel, the children in administrative detention, free Allah and all the Egyptians in CC cells, free all the migrants and refugees in detention centres and concentration camps for the crime of seeking sanctuary and a better life. Tear down the walls and borders and the companies that profit from building and militarising them. Comrades, we have nothing to lose but our chains and nothing less than a beautiful planet to win. Thank you very much. Choose against genocide! Choose against apartheid! Choose against genocide! Choose against starvation! From the river to the sea! From the river to the sea! From the sea to the river! From the sea to the river! Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Comrades, we're going to make our way over to St Thomas Hospital to show our solidarity with Layla. We're on it, yeah? We're going to take a picture, all of us together in front of the banners, and then we're going to make our way over. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Daniel. Yes, it's if you guys would like to stand over here so we could get a photo, totally optional. If you don't want to be in the photo, that's totally fine, but we usually take a picture at the end of every week, so if we could just gather over here, and then we'll march over to St. Thomas's Hospital.
Yeah.
Right, if you want more, see more, Sarge. If you want more, see more. If
I'm
not,
not, unfortunately.
then if I see you next week, see you around.
Come on.
Right, yeah.
Have a good weekend.
And you. I'll see you tomorrow if you're on it. Alright then, see you next week if you're here. Right guys, I'm wrap it up here. Thank you for watching as always. I'll keep a live going for a bit longer. But you can get hid. So I had to hide the chat, guys. It got bit. But guys, let me end the main video, then I'll chat to you guys. All right, give me 1 second. Right, guys, I would just like right. Let me end the live video, and now have a chat with you lot. Thank you for watching. Not live, a main video. Thank you for watching. They showed their true colours again tonight. I'll insert a bit from the live. But yeah, nothing new there. They're going to march up to St Thomas's now. I'm not going up with them. But thank you for watching. As always, keep safe, respect, and I'll see you in the next one. One sec, guys. I'll be with you in a sec, guys, in the live. Right, so the chat, yeah. All I did was made a joke, yeah? And this went from a joke to basically what is going on now. And it's just stupid. I want it to stop. And I know AY do. So can we just move on and leave it? Yes? I really do want it to stop. And I'll stay on this live, and I'll keep this live up. AY, I seriously do not mean any offence by what I'm saying. AY audit, by what I said, yes? And I did not know that they were going to hunt you down at all. Alright? So, on my behalf, I am sorry for what happened. And I hope the lads are as well. Alright? So let's just put it to bed and end it there.
Faces display your likeness, ever changing from glory to glory. Mirrored here, may our lives tell your story. Shine on me, shine, Jesus, shine. Fill this land with the Father's glory. Grace, grace, set our hearts on fire.
All I said, Lisa, was a joke. There you go, I had. Yeah, it was a joke for that backfired, but I didn't mean it in any offence. Oh, Nyack! Give me a hug, you know what I mean? You're right. How's things? I just want to say hi to you. How's things, you? You coming home? Say the children, you coming? Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
We'll walk the land, hearts on fire. Here we go. We'll walk the land with hearts on fire. And every step will be a prayer. Hope is rising, hope is rising. A new day dawning. The sound of singing fills the air. 2,000 years.
We're going back to us in a minute, guys.
And still the flame is burning bright across the land. Hearts are waiting, longing, aching for awakening once again. flame of fire in the heart of the darkness. Swirling high, so glorious day. Let the song go
What, Need more, yeah? No, literally, that was lovely. I just literally saw Mr. Banana Man as well. So,
Hi darling, how are you?
I won't get you on camera, don't worry. I won't get you on this, don't worry.
Okay.
How's things?
Okay, I'm coming. Let's see if I can get up in just now. Thank you.
Have you been over at the Palestine protest outside Scotland Yard?
Where?
Scotland Yard.
No, I didn't know there was one.
Every week they're there. Every single week. No, they're finished now.
I don't know. What time do they go there?
6 PM every week.
Every day?
Every week. Every Friday.
Every Friday, not now.
Yeah, it's interesting.
No, and I was here, I've been here for quite a while. I'm here with Haley's husband, you know, Reverend Haley.
Yeah.
He's going to pray just now for Israel. No, I had a tough week because I went to the rally on Saturday.
Shabnam got nicked. You hear?
Oh, yes.
I got that done.
Good one. I went to the rally and
I was there.
Monday, yes, I saw you there.
Yeah.
Monday I went to
Watch what you say, I am live. Watch what you say.
Monday we went to Trafalgar Square.
Alright guys, I'm going to do this live for a minute. Alright, I'll come back to you in a little bit and we'll do a walk about London. We just end this.
Monday we went to